When I started researching recipes, I completely forgot the importance of sauces. So I would make like a sweet potato and chicken bake or something, but it was so dry that I'd want a sauce. Then I'd want to buy a sauce from the supermarket, but sauces from the supermarket are full of chemicals and preservatives and all these horrible things. So I started to learn how to make sauces. Okay, I called my mom to teach me how to make sauces. So I'm going to make this tomato-based sauce that she taught me how to make, and I hope you guys like it. So this is a really easy to make vegetable based sauce, right? So very simple ingredients, just one onion. This was one large onion. There are 3 grated tomatoes in there, and this is about a bunch of dhania. You'll end up with maybe about 2 tablespoons of dhania, and a beef cube or a chicken cube or a vegetable cube, anything that you want to add the flavor, right? So I'm going to do this 4th tomato on camera because I had already done the other ones to prep, so I'm going to do this 4th one on camera. So I really dislike it when the peel of my tomato is in my sauces. I really don't like that, so I need to find a way to peel it. So there are very many options. Back in the day, I used to put these in, blanch them in like super hot water, and then the peel just comes off. But to save time, my brother taught me about just grating my tomatoes. So this is what I do. This is the tomato. I was going to call it a setting. This is the size of the grater option that I use, right? So you'll just take off the top, split it down the middle, and then grate it, right? So this is the corner I'm using. So by the time you are done grating your tomato, if you go like really down close to the peel, you have nothing left, and this is what your tomato looks like. So this is only one that I'm going to add to here. These are 3 already done. So here are my 4 tomatoes that are going to be the major base of my sauce, my dhania and the onions that I'm going to fry up first. And these are actually all the ingredients you need. Like I mentioned, I'm going to add some garlic. Did I say that before? I think I said that before. I'm going to add some garlic first. Well, no, after the onions, I'm going to add some garlic, fry that up, and then I'm going to add this. And it's really very simple. So we are moving on to the stove. So you just want your pan to heat up. You add the oil, and then you will add the onions first until they brown, garlic next, and then your tomato dhania mix. Very easy. So you want some oil in your pot. Not much actually. I tend to not use, again, this is a non-stick pot, so I'm not going to use a lot of oil. I just want to make sure that I move the oil around in the pan so that when I put the onions on, they are basically all covered. The base of the pot is completely covered. And then I just throw my onions in there. And there we go. So we move these around until they're going to start to turn translucent, and then they're going to start to turn golden brown. So as soon as they turn golden brown, I'm going to take my garlic and add that in there as well. And then it'll start to like sizzle a little more, and then just before, so I'm adding my garlic just before I add my tomatoes and my dhania. So let's just wait for this to brown. So in our house we have some pre-mashed up garlic and ginger. So we make a garlic and ginger mix that's like just beaten by ourselves. You can actually buy this in the supermarket, but I don't see the point. You can just mash some up yourself, but they sell it already mashed in the supermarket, so that's a much easier version, though we just do our own homemade. So I'm just going to wait for the onions to finish browning, and then I'm going to add our homemade beat up garlic ginger mix to the onions. So I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon of garlic and ginger and just mix that around in there. So I'm going to separate it, make sure it mixes in really well, and wait for that to brown. As soon as you put it in the pot or in the pan, you're going to already start to smell that nice yummy garlic ginger smell. It's already filling the kitchen. It's really quick. So you want to move quickly from this on to adding your other stuff. So I'm just going to make sure that it browns a little bit, and then I'm going to add my tomatoes. So now we are about done. It's sizzling, it smells great, but I'm about to add my tomatoes and my dania. I add them together. Some people like to add dania closer. Should I be calling it coriander? Add dania closer to the end of the cooking process. I just like to add them together because that's how I was taught to do it. So the pot is really, really hot. I'm just going to throw that in and it's going to be a loud, loud sizzle. So you just want to stir that around until the sizzle dies down. It will not take long at all. Just mix it all together until the sizzling dies down. Now, the next thing that you want to do, after you have made sure that all these things have combined really, really well, is bring it up to a boil again, right? So I'm just going to wait for this to heat up, to bring it up to a boil, and then I'll show you what to do after that. Just when the bubbles begin to form, I like to add my beef cube. Again, this is actually a beef chili cube. Like I said, this is a completely optional step. It's just an additional, for me, it just really changes the flavor and gives it a little bit of spice to have that beef. I use a chili cube, but you can just use a plain beef cube as well. So this right into the sauce, and then you want to mix that around. So you'll start to see the color as you dissolve the beef cube into the sauce. You'll start to see the color of the sauce start to change into something a little more brown. So you just want to leave it on high heat. It's on very high heat right now. So you just want to leave it, dissolve your beef cube into the tomato mix. As soon as that's done and it starts to boil, we're going to cover it up and let it simmer for a really long time. I say a really long time, but a fairly long time. When we get to a really, really strong boil, you want to turn it down and cover it up, right? So we're going to leave this to simmer for quite a good number of minutes, maybe 15-20 minutes. We're going to leave it to simmer because we're trying to get it to reduce, right? But we also want all those flavors and all those mixes. We want the tomato to really cook through. We want the beef cube flavor to come like really nice and through the sauce, the dania as well. Everything is going to mix really nicely together the longer you leave it to simmer. So I am going to show you in a few minutes what it's supposed to look like when it's time to now make it into the sauce. It's been about 15 minutes, right? And come and have a look. Oh, can you hear that? So this is your nice reduced down sauce. So you wanted all the moisture, well, not all the moisture, most of the moisture to disappear. And this, my friends, is what you are left with. So this is a very good point at which now you're supposed to season your sauce, right? So we're just going to add a bit of a pinch of salt, a little black pepper, nothing too ridiculous. And now at this point also, if you don't have fresh garlic in your house, but you happen to have garlic powder, this would be the point at which you'd be adding the garlic powder. So we don't add garlic powder really early on because it's not as strong. So the flavor will disappear if you add it too early on. So there we go. Now I've mixed in my salt and my black pepper. Just have a look. Very many people like it like this, right? But at this point, I'm going to add just a little bit of water. Now I know that I have cooked down and reduced the water, but it does something for the flavor, and that's how my mom taught me to do it. So I'm just going to do it how my mom taught me to do it. So I'm going to turn the heat back up, and I have some water here. This is actually a lot of water, but this is about 100 ml. I don't even think I'm going to add the entire 100 ml. I just want it to get to, there we go, a really nice pourable state, right? Because you want to be able to pour it, of course. And then I'm just going to cover that up again to boil. Now the purpose of this is just bringing it to the boil. Something that people do, and something my mom used to do, is that she used to add Royco to this water. So that could be another flavor enhancer. I don't particularly do that, but you could. So you just add Royco to the water and put that water in there. So we brought our sauce up to a really good boil. Have a look. A really, really good boil, a really nice strong boil. So this is pretty much done, but I'm just going to turn it down and taste it, because you see, sometimes you don't know whether what you're making tastes really good. There's a plane. Oh, that's delicious. It's delicious. You know, the thing is, I'm going to add a pinch of salt just before I serve it. But it's delicious. There's the spice that has come in from the black pepper, and from the, what is it called? From the beef cube, because it was a spicy cube. So I'm just gonna add a very small amount of salt, and then I'll be good to go, because I think we are almost perfect. It's so good. It's so good. I don't even need to taste it again. I'm done. I am done. So we are good to go. Look at that. Look at that. A beautiful, rich, simple, super simple tomato sauce. Now you can put this, like I mentioned, over anything. It's really good on beef, particularly roast beef. So if you make like a pot roast or something like, or steaks, it will be delicious for that. Roast chicken, it's really good on roast chicken. I wouldn't necessarily have it with fish, to be honest, but every other meat, it really works really well with every other meat. So I'm just gonna put this away and then show you how I serve it up. So here is my trusty gravy boat. And I'm just gonna pour that. Look how chunky and beautiful and rich and wonderful that is. The good thing about having pots and pans that don't stick is that you can get all your stuff out really quickly and without much of a mess. So I hope you can see this wonderful sauce. Can you see it in the gravy boat? There we go. It is delicious. The flavors work perfectly together. It is so, so yummy. It's a wonderful accompaniment for any type of meat that you want, maybe except fish, but it's a really nice accompaniment for anything. Just spread it over whatever it is that you're eating, and you never have to have dry food again, and you never have to go to the supermarket to buy a sauce again. Please try it. Let me know when you do. Feel free to add, like the Royco I had mentioned, you can use vegetable, chicken or beef stock instead of plain water, because I had used that. Anything you want to do, like I said, the kitchen is yours. Feel free to do whatever you want. You are what you eat, so please eat well and join me in the future so that I can continue to show you how to have your cake and eat it.